because every time, whatever you do, whoever you talk to, whatever you visit, the occupation is there. The ugliness of this illegal occupation is everywhere. But on the other side, there's the beauty and the hospitality of the Palestinian people. And there are so many mayors, local governments, institutions, NGOs, Palestinian, that are trying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to do their best, but with limited means. Their hands are tied like a prisoner.
Israeli occupation suppressive measures affect not only the Palestinians, but also their guests and their visitors. Days ago, a Belgian delegation was visiting the occupied Palestinian territory. It was stopped and searched by the Israeli occupation forces, obstructing the program of that delegation. To talk more about the experience of the Belgian delegation in Palestine, I have with me the head of that delegation, Mr. Bilal Bruggen from Belgium. Welcome to our program, Mr. Bilal.
Well, nice to have me. Good evening,
You're welcome. Before we talk about the Israeli occupation behavior and how they stopped your delegation, if you tell me about the goal, the aim of the Belgian delegation visit to Palestine, please.
Yes, of course. So we are an NGO, a Belgian NGO, and with our contacts with the Palestinian mission to the European Union and Belgium, we were able to set up a program and a journey in Palestine. The main goal of this journey is, first of all, to make a high-quality documentary about Palestine. Not about the occupation itself, but about the resilience of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian institutions and authorities, organizations, aimed at showing the entrepreneurship of Palestinians. Although the occupation, although all the restrictions, it's amazing to see how Palestinian common people try to do trade, try to make commerce, try to study high quality studies in university and so on, and try to make the best in life possible, although all those restrictions. We were astonished by the resilience and the hope and the hospitality of so many Palestinian people we were able to speak. So that was the main goal. And secondly, to have contacts with some local authorities, with and other NGOs in Palestine, organizations, to build up a network in order to set up exchanges with Belgian organizations, universities, and so on. And also, in a third part, do some humanitarian work, meaning we already have a small project in a refugee camp in Lebanon, in Saida. And we would like to start in 2023 with 1 or 2 small structural aid campaigns in Palestine itself, in refugee camps.
Yes, first of all, Bilal, okay, now let's talk about the impression that you got when you put your foot on the Palestinian territory. We saw and heard how the Israeli occupation forces stopped your delegation and searched you, and a behavior that not accepted at all, because we know that every human being right to free movement, travel, communication must be respected. So the Israeli occupation forces, as I mentioned in the introduction, violate not only the rights of the Palestinian people, but also the rights of their visitors and their guests. Tell us what happened with you when they stopped your delegation.
Well, listen, first of all, the occupation is visible everywhere. I mean, wherever you go, you are passing checkpoints, and from time to time you have to give your passport, and they are checking it, and probably they are putting you on a list as foreigner that you were visiting the Palestinian territories. That's the first thing. Secondly, we were on our way to visit a youth project that has been financed by the European Union and Belgium. Belgium has an agency for development aid, and it gave money to this project. So we went to go and visit it. Upon our return from this visit, which was a very nice visit, also emotionally, because it's amazing how the Palestinian university students built this village, bought ground and built up on a village in order to resist the illegal Israeli settlements all around them, and to fight in their own way against this colonists. So on our way back, we were stopped. The road was blocked by a colonist, armed, of course, as I understood, and as we experienced in our 2 weeks visit. All of them are walking around armed, like in the Far West, and everybody, the Israeli army and police finds this normal, which for us as Europeans is already very shocking, because in Belgium nobody walks around with a gun and a pistol except the security or police forces. So this is already shocking to start with. Secondly, his behavior was very worrying, because it came to a discussion, of course, with our Palestinian bus driver, who was asking why he was stopping us and holding us, and why he didn't let us through. And things got heated, and he, at a certain moment, he even pulled his rifle and aimed it at the bus. So, we are in a bus with 7 Belgian experts, humanitarian aid workers, documentary makers. My brothers, Idris and Sidi Mohammed, the directors of our documentary, were inside the bus, cameraman, soundman, and so on. It was a very bad experience and a shocking experience for somebody who's just visiting a humanitarian youth project financed by his own government. So it's crazy that, from our tax money we pay in Belgium, our government is helping Palestinian youth to do a project, and we can't go and visit it. They stop us. And afterwards...
And Bilal, and the Israeli settler behavior against you and the delegation confirms the Palestinian narrative when we talk about Israeli settlers' violence against the Palestinians in their homes, the Palestinians traveling on the road. So when you got back home, did you talk about what happened with you, and how was that perceived by the people who listened to you?
Yes, first of all, we agreed that we wouldn't bring it out while we were still in Palestine, because we were afraid that could cancel our documentary and our whole journey. So we kept it for us until we were back in Belgium. But luckily enough, the 2 directors that I said from the documentary, they put it on camera. So we had camera footage and we had pictures. So they can't deny what happened. And we decided to go to the press in Belgium, because people have to know this. This is just... this is horrible that these things happen, and as you say, it proves the violence of the settlers, of the illegal settlers, not only to the Palestinian people and the Palestinian citizens living all around, but also to tourists and to people visiting Belgium. So me and my partner in the NGO, the manager of the international project, Stijn Ledegen, we wrote an opinion piece, and it was published in, let's say, the most highly valued newspaper in Belgium, and we got a lot of response on it. We have to say that we got a lot of support, and of course, this is something that it proves once again how bad the situation is, and it also proves that there's a strategy. I mean, this is an example of a strategy put in place by the Israeli government and being done by the colonists. The Israeli government.
Bilal. And did you file any complaint with the Belgian embassy here? Did you file any complaint, for example, with the Israeli judicial system itself, with the Israeli police? what was your immediate response to that settler attack?
Yes, we made a complaint. We followed the legal procedures as it goes. We informed our consul in Jerusalem, and he's investigating it, and he will take contact with the Israeli authorities to ask an explanation what happened to us there. We filed a complaint with our Belgian Minister of Foreign Affairs and of International Development aid. So yes, we did what I think we have to do as Belgian citizens: contact our government, tell them what happened to us, and ask for an explanation how this can be happening. And it hasn't happened to us alone. We are not the only ones. We are not the first, and I'm afraid we won't be the last.
And did you receive any response from the authorities until now, or not yet?
Yes, we had, as I said, my colleague Stijn, he's taking care of this, and he was in touch. He had a nice conversation with the consul of Belgium in Jerusalem, and he's taking this on, and they will keep us informed what is going on, or what is the response from Israel. Now, I also have to say, if I might admit, that 2 hours after the article was published, the Israeli embassy in Belgium contacted the head, the chief of the redaction of the newspaper, to ask more details of the incident, so they can do an investigation.
So, yes, and Bilal, yes, and you came here for your documentary, which is titled "Behind the Walls," and you came and you see the wall with your own eyes. You saw the checkpoints, the Israeli soldiers and settlers ongoing aggression. Just while I'm speaking with you today morning, they broke into a Palestinian family house here in Kufr Aqab near Jerusalem and shot a 21-year-old youth in the chest, killing him on a spot in his own bedroom. So how your film, your documentary film, is going to reflect the reality of the Palestinian situation to the Western audience?
First of all, Allah Rahmu. I'm so sad. It's very sad, and we get this news for 40 odd years, weekly, monthly. What can we do? Well, first of all, the incidents and the attacks from Israel, when they really attack big, like bombing Gaza, it reaches the viewers in Belgium. It reaches the media, the mainstream media. The thing, our point of view, and what we agreed upon trying to do, is that we would like to show the awfulness of the occupation, but through the beauty of the entrepreneurship and the resilience of the Palestinian people. Because there have been documentaries, there have been journalists reporting about the attacks and the violence, and we get to see this on social media. But you know what we don't get to see is what a beautiful country Palestine is, what amazing people Palestinians are, living under the harsh conditions you people are living in, men, women, children, and how you deal with that. This we would like to put in a documentary for once, and the occupation will be in it like a red thread all through the documentary, because every time, whatever you do, whoever you talk to, whatever you visit, the occupation is there. The ugliness of this illegal occupation is everywhere. But on the other side, there's the beauty and the hospitality of the Palestinian people. And there are so many mayors, local governments, institutions, NGOs, Palestinian, that are trying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to do their best, but with limited means. Their hands are tied like a prisoner. It's not easy.
Yes.
And I hope this is what we can show, and in this way, hoping that the Belgian viewer The Belgian people that look at the documentary can identify with the Palestinians, because a Belgian man or woman cannot identify with the freedom fighter in Palestine. He cannot identify with the young guy of 12 or 14 throwing rocks. This is the resistance which has to be done, which the Palestinians have every right to do so, also according to international law. But the Belgian citizens cannot identify with that, but they can identify with a professional football player, which is playing in the national team and which will be in our documentary. They can identify with a fashion designer. They can identify with a farmer or an agricultural chairman of a corporation who's trying to fight one of the other ugly faces of the occupation and of the settlers, whom are attacking the fields of the farmers who have olive trees all of the time, destroying trees of 200 years old.
Yeah.
Just to harass the farmers and sometimes even killing them.
Yes,
just because they are working on their own land.
So, Mr. Bilal, while you're talking about the Palestinian fight for freedom and about the Palestinian beauty, I see the photo of late leader Yasser Arafat in the background, and this shows me how much you love the people of Palestine and their leader. And my final point, tell me about the best thing, the most beautiful thing that you saw in Palestine and you will continue to remember.
Listen, I've said in a small message on social media that I came, and we as a delegation, because I think I can speak for all of us, we came with a heart for Palestine, and that's also the name of our humanitarian projects that we do. But we left with Palestine in our heart. I think that says it all, because if I have to say what touches me the most, the food that I ate every day, and the special traditional food, the hospitality everywhere we went, we were treated like kings, and we are only just normal human beings trying to have empathy and to try to do our small part in the resistance of the Palestinian people. And going to Mr. Jibril Rajoub, who did so much for us in order to establish the whole program we could have in Palestine, and also the normal people we met. Maybe I can end by saying, because you told me, looking at the picture behind me of late President Yasser Arafat, that it shows the way I stand and the way I feel about Palestine. I was a young boy of 14 years old when my mother took me to the first demonstration against the Israeli occupation, against the crimes they committed. And we are 40 years later, and the situation is not the same, it's worse. And I thought it got about time that, I do more than go to manifestations in Belgium and express my anger and frustration on social media. I wanted to do more. And I think in this journey, and with the help of the Embassy of Palestine in Belgium, the help of our fixer, Madam Nawal Sadi, we had amazing contacts, and I think we have amazing material to work on and to go on further and to develop cooperation and exchanges in the next couple of years. Maybe to finish this interview, for which I would like to thank you one more time, to give me this chance to express what we experienced, is to say that my youngest son, who's today 1 year and 2 months old, his name is Yasser. So the heritage and the remembrance of late Palestinian President Yasser Arafat, anyway, in our family, will live on long after I returned to my, how will I say, until I'm not here anymore.
Bilal Bruggen, head of the Belgian delegation to Palestine, it has been really great honor having you on our program. Thank you very much, and I wish we would meet again here in Ramallah and have you face to face in our studio. Thank you very much.
Inshallah, brother, we will. Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and from me, Osama Nazal. Have a nice time.